Hello and welcome to a random 8-bit armies game that I found while looking through game replays. No idea what that's a reference to. Oh, the picture that he has on the start. So, we have down here SpectreKingPrime, very good Guardians only player, playing as the Guardians in this very boring teal. And over here in the white, we have AoL Recon playing Marines in the magnificent white colour. So the reason I found this game is because very few good players play Marines. Very few good players play each other a lot of the time. And finding a game against such a good Guardians player with such a good Marine player, and there are actually 2 games in a row, which I'm going to look at, I was very excited to see what happens. And so yeah, we're going to have a look. Firstly, obviously, Guardians starting units are very weak, and so with a little bit of decent micro, this is going to be really annoying for SpectreKingPrime. I'm going to spoil already that this game is not a rush, which is one of the reasons I looked at it, because I do not subscribe to the idea that but you can rush Guardians, so you can win versus Guardians. I think it is almost impossible for a Marine to win straight up against Guardians. And if it was just a you rushed, I wouldn't be watching this game. But Carnage is having to hold off this very annoying early push with the very weak starting units that the Guardians have. Good micro, good targeting by Recon, keeping his troops on the right sides. But basically, Spectre has set up everything he wants pretty fine, only just having his army chipped down. Recon is going double factory. Versus Marines, or versus Guardians, you're not going to have any worry about quick air harassing you. The worry is first that a load of rocket cars will start harassing you, and then Spectres. So right now, he's safe to be making only Ogres. And he's actually going to push up with them, which is interesting, because he kept the rocket car number down early with his Harpy. This might manage to be successful. Normally, I think this would honestly be suicide, but he did kill a couple of rocket cars with this original Harpy, and he's pushing hard, trying to make sure that his Ogres, you see it there, trying to hit the building, and he's like, no, kill these rocket cars. He's got his Harpy still alive as well, which is quite incredible. The first 2 snipers come out, and we'll end that quickly, though, with the Tech Club now out. And this Ogre, again, keeping this G army down a lot, and most importantly keeping it at home, so that Recon has managed to fill his side of the map with harvesters. He has 5 harvesters right now, which is absolutely perfect. This is more than Marines need for a game, honestly. So he's in really good shape now, as long as he can keep these rocket cars at home, and he's just going to keep pumping in Ogres to try and do so. So the radar is getting put down here from Spectre, so he can start making Spectres. Once he has Spectres, this pushing will start to once again become suicide. So he needs to do as much as he can now. Good micro from both sides, pulling back the wounded Ogre, but then managing to pick it off from Spectre. And now he has that radar out, so I wouldn't be surprised if the next thing to come out here will be a Spectre. Yeah, and there we go. So they've started to come out now. These things do heavy damage. They are invisible. They're incredibly scary. Now, a barracks has come up from Recon here, which is super important. Not specifically because, Marines are incredibly good or anything. Harpies are really nice to get a couple of out, but they are quite expensive. But just to have something to be able to spot Spectres that are trying to come harass you is very important. And now, this is why this sort of thing is so dangerous, because the Spectres will just follow you and just chip away at you. If you're running away, that already means you're losing, which already means you're in a bad position. He's also got some Gremlins out, which is very nice. He's actually going for the research facility tech first, which is something that him, Recon on Tarnation, the only other two really good Marine players who play nowadays, do. And I disagree with it, but they are entirely certain that they want to do this. I think Proven plays this way as well because he still thinks Manticores are good for some reason. But we got a couple Shrikes out, which actually are going to be useless because Spectre is not going to make any air. He's made one too many. Harvester wasted some money there, didn't stop it. He could hide it back there so that when one of his Harvesters gets taken, he can replace it immediately or something, but just threw away some money there accidentally. And here we get how Guardians play against... he did move command there. That was a bit of a mistake. But Spectres just don't care. They're just like, nope. You split up your army to defend. That means you don't have your whole army here, and so I can just win. These snipers are going to absolutely murder this infantry, and on the way out, he's just going to two-shot this Harvester. Slightly not excellent micro and stuff from Spectre here means he will lose more Spectres than he needed to, but at this point he can sort of turn around. An interesting Wyvern coming out now. Wyverns can be powerful when you get a lot of them, but they do very little damage. They are tanky. But we're going to have to see what is happening here. Spectre is probably going to need to change his build to kill these eventually. We should see an airport thing coming down soon. He's going 3 drone base, 4 drone base now. This is very interesting. So he thinks that he can do this, and here we go. Very typical Guardians versus Marine play. He's just going to go, oh, what? You had a load of Harvesters? Sorry, I hadn't been concentrating earlier this game. No, you don't get to have that. And so now Recon is pushing forward, and he is... I think Spectre is probably going to be as taken aback by how many Wyverns there are as I am, because this is not something that you expect to come out, because Wyverns, if he was going faster into air, would actually lose this, and he's actually going for light drones, which is interesting. I don't think light drones are the answer. I think he needs to get heavy drones out, because these things are so big that light drones are going to have a real hard time getting good splash on. Like they could. We saw in one of the Ladder Wars tournament games recently some aggressors having some really nice shots gone on them, and these Spectres looking around, they could probably, like this, these do no damage. So they're just going to walk in and they're just going to kill it. And then they're just going to leave. He accidentally went towards that, and even though he only lost, 5 Spectres, the other 5 get out, took a Harvester for free, and now he's got the rest of his Spectres here. Only one. That was a lot of wasted light drones there. That was a really bad connection from those light drones. This ground army is going to get obliterated by these Spectres. Like, this ground army has no chance of doing anything, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter because there are all these Wyverns here and nothing to stop them from Trollocul's style. I would like to see him split these up now, because you don't want to keep these together when they're just getting harassed in air. You want to force his air to have to split up to deal with them, and he is going to start splitting them up now. But yeah, he just doesn't seem to have any anti-air, really. He has a couple here. He's getting some snipers down, but he doesn't have a good amount. Harvesters here just going to get popped immediately. And these are now going to start hitting the buildings. They do have siege damage. Oh. Oh, that's not something that Spectre expected. That's not something that anyone would expect. He has one of the area of effect towers. And that's just absolutely blunted Spectre's force. That is... You know what, that is not usual, but I'm not going to throw this away as a, this is some weird shit sort of thing. Oh, some decent hits there. That's actually a good idea, to be honest, because just to stop some... Especially in an area like this where there are so many packed up buildings. But now the problem for Spectre has become that he doesn't have enough anti-air to stop this, and these things do siege damage. So when I said they do not much damage earlier, I was meaning in a fight. In this situation, these things are incredibly scary and incredibly powerful. And they're going to take a while to kill these scouts. These scouts, if they're in a better number, would probably win this fight, but They will eventually... Look how slow that is. Holy moly. So, That looks like game, honestly. He didn't take enough damage. I mean, he took a good amount of damage to his harvesters, but because of this tower clearing up most of the Spectres over here, he's just getting to rampage through Spectre's base. Now, this is a way to beat the Spectre sort of way of playing, right? The Spectre Guardians will lose to this because, as you've just seen, they just don't have enough. Recon's been splitting most of the time decently well against these light drones, and even when he's not splitting hugely, they're so big that the light drones don't do that good against them. See, they're on move command past here as well, so they're not even getting hits. There we go. Our boy Spectre's realised. I'm very happy now after this that there is another game, because I want to see if this will work twice. I do not think this will work twice. I think in the second game, Spectre's going to make these sooner. He's going to get heavy drones out, and this is just not going to be enough.